future that you dream of will open up before your eyes. Just reach out your hands, that's all you have to do. When you need a shoulder to lean on, we'll be there for you. Always here to lend a helping hand, count on us through and through. From the bottom of our heart, with a mother's mind, we love you. In a world that is full of pain, we bring you some joy. With the love of a mother, we want you to know we love you. Open your mind and you will feel eternal happiness. All of your troubles and your sorrows will disappear before your eyes. Just reach out your hands and take our gift of love. When you need us, we'll be by your side, ready to set hope afloat. Always here to lend a helping hand, count on us through and through. From the bottom of our heart, with a mother's mind, we love you.
Good evening. Welcome to the International WeLoveU Foundation webinar for closing the homework gap and bridging the digital divide for students and families. The International WeLoveU Foundation, which was founded in South Korea nearly 2 decades ago by our chairwoman, Jang-gil Ja, has been spreading a mother's love from corner to corner all over the world for all people in our global village. Today is no exception, and you are part of that mission. My name is John Cassis, and I'll be the moderator for this evening's webinar. We have a distinguished panel of guests today who know firsthand the problems that are being faced in this pandemic that we are now all in, as well as the solutions that you are now going to be part of. I'd like to take the time to introduce them. First panelist, Dr. April Voss. Dr. April Voss started her educational career in Japan, teaching students English. She then, enamored by the language, brought it back to the United States and taught our students here Japanese. She then decided that she wanted to pursue this as a lifelong career, and then studied and took her doctorate degree in superintendency, graduating at the top 1% of her class. She is now the superintendent of the Irvington Public School System in Irvington, New Jersey, where she also serves as the township's first lady. Dr. Voss, I'd like to ask you a question. What is it that you are now involved in? What are you doing in the Irvington Public Schools to help our children through these difficult times?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cassis. First, I would like to thank the WeLoveU Foundation for providing me with this opportunity to speak to your community of donors and sponsors and people who are just interested in this mission. I want to thank Mr. Raposo, Ms. Lee, and also I want to acknowledge my esteemed colleague, Mr. Roger Leon, the Superintendent of Newark Public Schools. It's just an amazing honor to serve the Irvington community. Right now, we are trying our best to obtain Chromebooks, resources to ensure that regardless of one's zip code, that students are able to have equal access to a quality education. So right now, that is the main thrust of my superintendency in this horrible pandemic season that we find ourselves in.
As you can see, this is one of the reasons why Dr. Voss is with us here today. because of her expertise and her involvement in the community in helping to solve this problem that we're all here to resolve today. Next, I want to introduce you to Superintendent Roger Leon. He is a lifelong resident of Newark, New Jersey, where he believes that every child is a genius. Having that kind of mind, he has been devoted to education for nearly 30 years in this city and continues to give back to them now as the superintendent of the Newark Public Schools. Mr. Leon, I'd like to ask you, after so many years of being involved in helping our students succeed, what are some of your fondest and dearest memories of the children in the Newark Public School system?
Well, good evening, Mr. Casas and everyone that has contributed to the WeLoveU Foundation, and obviously my good friend, Dr. Voss from the great city of Irvington. If you can imagine, I have a number of examples across various leadership roles that I can draw from. I was a teacher for 5 years, a principal for 10, and in a leadership role in executive staff for over 13 years. I've taught thousands of students and mentored hundreds. Arguably, I would claim that all of their successes are in fact mine, across every area of industry, whether it's in education or in the medical field. Their successes are something that I felt that I contributed to, just like I clearly know that every single one of my students is an integral part of the successes that I am in fact experiencing today. So I have been truly blessed to be a part of so many inspirational stories and incredible lives. And I'm grateful to all of my students for that.
Superintendent, thank you for your devotion to the educational system in our schools. Now, I know you all want to get involved too. The WeLoveU Foundation, who shares a mother's love, understands that in a family, a mother's the one who is always focused on the children's education. And that's why this is such a near and dear topic to all of us who are joining today. So I want to ask you all who are watching a couple of questions. Today, we're going to have kind of a family discussion with Dr. Voss and Superintendent Leon. So I want to include you with the first of 4 questions. First, out of 10 students, how many do you think do not have access to a computer? Is it 1 out of 10? 3 out of 10? Cast your polls. Let's see what's everybody thinking. And the survey says, the majority of you say 4 out of 10 don't. Unfortunately, you're right. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we're here today. There's an enormous digital divide. Even though we have so many students that willingly and eagerly want to attend school to better themselves and their families, they're just not able to do it. Which brings about our second question. How many students in the state of New Jersey do you think still need resources to connect to online classes? 170,000? 300,000? Don't worry, we're not going to grade your test. I know that we have a former principal and we have a superintendent. You're going to get nervous, but nobody's grading these tests. 41% of you say 300,000. Another 37% of you got 230,000. And you're right. 230,000 of our students in New Jersey still cannot connect online to get the resources that they need this coming September so that they can attend school. Let me ask you now a third question. Which county in the state of New Jersey needs the most support to close that homework gap? Is it Hudson County, Union County, or Essex County? You guys are geniuses. I think Superintendent Leon, you're right. Everyone is a genius inside somehow. You all got the right answer. Essex County is the county that is most in need and support. And that is why we have both the superintendents of Newark and Irvington, both cities in New Jersey that reside in the county of Essex. In order for you to understand how this is affecting not only the counties in New Jersey and the state of New Jersey overall, but more importantly, this is a problem that is happening throughout our country, from New York to California. We want to show you a little bit of a news clip so that you can understand the gravity and the breadth of this problem.
the digital divide, or the gap between those who have consistent access to technology and connectivity and those who don't. Roughly 11% of Americans don't have a computer at home, and nearly 20% don't have a broadband internet connection, according to the most recently available census data.
More than 40 million Americans don't have access to the internet, meaning that as the country responds to the COVID-19 pandemic, many are unable to access work, attend school, or get basic necessities from home. It's a problem that has troubled cities and towns, big and small, in the U.S. for years.
This crisis has done is fast forward us into a broadband future. Crises change society. The opportunity here is to recognize that broadband is absolutely essential.
When schools closed, only 10% of Detroit public school students had access to a computer and the internet.
Park, the school year actually began Tuesday, and yet at the end of this first school week, some parents say they still don't have a way to connect their child to any virtual classroom.
The speed of an internet connection. As the wireless world moves faster by the minute, many Americans are being left behind.
But a third of U.S. homes don't have high-speed internet. America's digital divide is real.
Taylor and Lindsay, from food distribution to class instruction, technology plays a huge role in the district's success as it responds to COVID-19. But for KCPS, many students don't have access to laptops or even the internet, and the district says that it was not ready for this crisis. Now, as a result, it's created this Technology Operations Center. It's where employees are working hard to help teachers work from home and help students gain the access that they need. But KCPS will still be days, even weeks behind other districts in the metro.
Well, Jack, we're told that thousands of students have no access to adequate internet, with school starting now online in just a few weeks. We spoke with a county legislator and an organization who gave possible solutions to that problem before September rolls around.
I didn't have much access to technology in elementary school. Especially in 5th grade, I really noticed it when we didn't go to the lab as much. The reality of it is we don't always get that access, and we really want that access to the tablets and get to play all those educational games. But this has really helped by giving us each a tablet and telling us that the possibilities are endless.
Do you feel like you're learning more?
Yes, I do. My grades have increased, and I feel like I have more of a hands-on learning.
Now you can understand how big this problem really is. Perhaps if you have children, you can understand it firsthand. But even if you don't have children, you yourself can understand and relate and sympathize with these students that don't have the resources they need at this time, with school just being 2 weeks away. When we were growing up and went to school, we just went to the store and picked up a couple of notebooks, some pens and papers, and an eraser. But times have changed. And that's really where we need to take our discussion at this time, especially this year with the COVID-19 pandemic that has affected every aspect of our life. Education is not excluded. Dr. Voss, I'd like to ask you, in the township of Irvington, as superintendent, how has COVID-19 impacted the way that you are delivering the services of education to the children in your community?
Thank you, John. It has impacted, our community greatly. We started out in March with paper and pencil. We didn't have the devices available to immediately go to virtual learning. It wasn't until May 4th that we actually transitioned. So if you can imagine, almost 2 months behind the rest of the world was our transition to virtual learning. I will say that my staff, my community have been second to none in their diligence and their cooperative spirit to engage in this endeavor, which it was quite an endeavor because just on a data point, 58% of our students did not have accessibility to technology on their own. We started out with providing Chromebooks to those who received free or reduced lunch. And then, of course, we had to provide hotspots for those who didn't have Wi-Fi in their home. So you can imagine only 42% of our students had what they needed to begin the school year. And you know, I would like to say that we had 100%, but I know that that was not the case. And there were students who who got lost in the mix. So it was quite challenging to start out the year, or to start in March with us closing schools.
So, Doctor, I appreciate you having that positive attitude. I'm sure the students are looking towards you, the faculty, the staff, their teachers, the rest of the educators in the township of Irvington, and looking for that kind of positive energy in order for them to be able to get through the school year as well. Now, over to Superintendent Leon. I'm interested in the city of Newark. It's perhaps the biggest city that we have in New Jersey. What have been for you and the students there the toughest challenges at this time?
Last year, one of the things that we practiced was and tried to master was flexibility. And I forecasted to everyone that this year patience would be a virtue. We will begin this academic school year remotely, build confidence and resilience during these next couple of months, transition to in-person instruction as soon as we possibly can, still offer remote instruction to our students, focusing on the academic program, of course, and then special emphasis on social emotional learning so that when we return responsibly, that we're actually back and understanding what we're all referencing as a new normal. It is important to note that along with the distribution of Chromebooks, which occurred at the start of our process of actually implementing remote learning, that as of today, we have distributed over 820,000 meals to the children and their families here in the great city of Newark. So a lot of work, a lot of kudos, obviously, to our leaders and teachers, and definitely to all of our essential workers in the processes that we have implemented for ingress procedures for students, as well as obviously the feeding of meals throughout the city.
I think both of you correct. It seems like in this very difficult dilemma that we're now in, and these multi-layered problems that we're now experiencing, trying to educate our children, a simple Chromebook seems to be a way to answer a lot of these pressing issues. The most important thing it seems that you're telling us is that we need to connect these students to the school. Without connecting them to the school, I think that'll exacerbate all the problems. Am I right in that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole idea of this whole conversation about the digital divide is a little bit more than just getting the access. And Dr. Voss talked about the importance of connectivity and hotspots. In order for our students to actually engage in a conversation with their classmates, not only in their school, but in fact throughout the world, the whole objective of making sure that they have the technology is critical toward that end.
I mean, we can take tonight's webinar as a great example. Everybody's connected through a computer right now. Yes. If it were not for that computer that we have right now that is connecting all 600 of us who are now speaking about this problem and also the solutions, then we might not be able to help these students. So imagine how much of a need they have for something similar to what we already have for them to not only further their education, but also the success of their family in the near future. That leads me to the next question. Dr. Voss, we read a quote that was given by you, and it really moved us, and we really wanted to share it with all the volunteers of WeLoveU that are connected today, and also our guests who are joining us for the first time. And the quote was, "It's not good enough for most or many of our students to have equal access to the digital tools to have a quality educational experience through instructional delivery. We must ensure that all our students have access. This will further our goal in building our community one student at a time." Dr. Voss, could you please elaborate on this for us?
Well, simply put, when we think about the foundation of this great nation that we live in, the things that, is the possibility that anyone can become anything, and access to quality instruction has made a difference in my life, and it makes a difference in the lives of the children of Irvington. And to think that your zip code dictates whether you have access to a quality education, we cannot allow that to happen. So to say that most of the kids have what they need, or many of them have it, is not good enough. It's not until the day that we can say everyone has equal access. And that's the principles on which we have our Bill of Rights: equal access, equal access. So, you know, our mantra here in Irvington is that we're building our community one student at a time, and we can see so many examples in our country and our great world that one person can make things really, really great, or one person can make things really, really poor. And, you know, I like to think that what we do, what my esteemed colleague, Mr. Leon, and myself do, is we make a difference in the lives of children. And right now, we do not want people's access to deny them a quality instruction and a great life.
Dr. Voss, I think you hit the nail right on the head. And really, for those of you who are joining us today, that is really the answer to this problem. Each student, one by one, is a way to get to the final problem of having 100% success and having everyone connected. That means each one of you that are here this evening are also part of that solution. Please understand that even that one Chromebook in the hands of one of the children can not only affect their lives, but if you agree with me, Dr. Voss, I think it'll help an entire family as well.
Absolutely.
Superintendent
Absolutely.
Leon, what's your perspective on success for your students in the Newark Public School System this year?
Well, our definition of success in this process, fortunately, has not withered. We have high expectations for students, constantly raising the bar, continuous recognitions and celebrations of success, and then obviously raising that bar even higher. In the midst of the pandemic, I think what we're doing really well, not only in Newark, but throughout New Jersey, is modeling success in crisis. Our challenge will be to demonstrate the same type of grit and purpose when the pandemic is in fact long behind us. Fortunately, this pandemic, nor any other crisis, will in fact defeat us. The assistance that is being poured into our urban communities, and not only in New Jersey, but throughout the country, is well deserved and will in fact assist and eliminate this divide, or at least get us closer to where the whole idea of access is not an issue that is based on anyone's particular zip code.
That's exactly, I think you two spoke before this webinar. It's like you're telling us the same message and we're all understanding it the same way. We are understanding one student at a time also means one volunteer at a time. And that's why you're all here. We know that the problem seems big, but just as every brick wall is built by one brick at a time, each of your support is also a very, very big step in solving the problem, not just in Newark, but also in Irvington Township schools as well. That's why today we want everyone to understand these communities have educators as passionate as Dr. Voss, as passionate and dedicated as Superintendent Leon. That's why the WeLoveU Foundation is proud to be a part of this program, partnering with both of these cities, both of these public school educational systems, in order for us to truly spread a mother's love and be the foundation that is always there in the time of need. That's why I want everyone to take time today to go to our website. I know you're all moved and you want to do something, but you're not sure just how to do it. Or maybe you yourself are not able to do a Chromebook on your own. Or maybe for some of our corporate sponsors, one Chromebook just isn't enough. Then please take the time right now. I'd like to guide you to know how you can help both Irvington and Newark Public School systems from this very night. We're going to give you a step-by-step tutorial. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to www.WeLoveUSA.org. Again, www.WeLoveUSA.org. When you get to our homepage, you're going to see that the main banner is going to be Closing the Homework Gap. Click on that banner. Once you click on that banner, that's going to take you on over to our landing page that's dedicated to all the efforts that are being done on this campaign. So all you need to do is scroll down to the bottom of the page. If you're one of the corporate sponsors that are joining today, all you need to do is you can contact us at development@WeLoveUSA.org. If you go down to the bottom of the page, you'll find the way in which you can donate. Now, we understand that everybody's capacity is different. So you have different options and custom amounts that you can do. filling out your information, the company name, email address, and then of course, credit card information in order to make that donation and support today. Most important thing, once you fill out that information and you get to the bottom of the page, don't forget to click the Donate Now. Then once you click the Donate Now, you got one more step if you wouldn't mind, and that is subscribe to our newsletter. Through the newsletter, you can see what has been happening with this campaign and even see the smiling faces of the children who are going to be receiving these Chromebooks, so you can see how you have been a part of spreading mother's love through this campaign. I want to take time now today to also give thanks to both Dr. Voss, who has taken time out from a very busy schedule in order to join us today. I'd also like to thank, on behalf of the WeLoveU Foundation, Superintendent Leon. I know that you put us into your schedule today. You're running to a whole other meeting right after this, so we really appreciate the time that you set forth. And also, we'd like to appreciate the time that you have given us. Those of you who have been trustworthy supporters of the WeLoveU Foundation for quite some years, and those of you who are joining today as coworkers, friends, or family, or who have heard about the efforts of the WeLoveU Foundation and decided to join in this campaign today. There is no other way that we can tell you how much we appreciate what you've done, except one way. Are you guys ready, superintendents?
Yes. Yes.
This is the only way we know how to say thank you to all the efforts and sacrifices that all the volunteers make. You guys ready?
Yep.
One, two, three. We love you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for your support. See everybody soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To the whole world, with the love of a mother, we want you to know we love you. Open your mind and you will feel how beautiful true love is. Eternal future that you dream of will open up before your eyes. Just reach out your hand. That's all you have to do when you need a shoulder to lean on. We'll be there for you. Always here to lend a helping hand. Count on us through and through. From the bottom of our hearts, with a mother's mind, we love you. That is full of pain, we bring you some joy. With the love of a mother, we want you to know we love you. Open your mind and you will feel eternal happiness. All of your troubles and your sorrows will disappear before your eyes.